And suddenly I was seeing something else. I felt a cold wind on my cheek and I could see the city in the distance. I could hear a sob. I had been crying without realizing it. I looked around, forgetting even to wipe the tears from my cheeks. The roof was lit up by the moon. There's nothing here. There's no one here. Of course, there's no sign of Sarika or Nono's body. Then what was that? It was all mind control, all just a hallucination. It was a fake vision that my dad had created. That's right, it was just like a movie or a visual novel, or an anime, you could say. It had to be. Nono died at Sarika's hand. Sarika had killed Nono. That had really happened, I'd seen it. But it wasn't happening now. It was all part of the past. There's no changing it. Again? A repeat? Again. The two of them were standing there just as they were before. Seen this scene already. Literally, is this Endless 8? Is this the, Suzumu Haruhi's Endless 8, which literally repeating the time loop over and over again? And they don't bother, they don't imply the loop, they just show the entire dialogue again. Just to prove a point that yes, we are just gonna give you the same dialogue to you, the audience, again, just to prove that yes, this is a time loop. Well, the two of them played out the exact same scene as before. We didn't need the repeat dialogue though, you could just say that, but, well, there's still no sign that they noticed me. My heart began to pound loudly again. I remembered how I felt to hold Nono's body in my hands, the smell of her blood and the way the warmth drained from her body, and the way her eyes would never look at me again. Calm down. I tried to tell myself that again and again. This was part of the past. Screaming won't change it. Maybe this wasn't even part of the past. I hadn't heard this conversation. Everything except the fact that Sarika had killed Nono might be a hallucination that my dad had created. I tried to run away, growing ever more frustrated in my unmoving legs. Well, maybe at this point, Sakuma chopped off your legs and that's why you can't run? But nothing worked. That's right, the real me wasn't even here. I was on top of the stage, trapped in a hallucination, with Dad and his gigantic D-sword standing right in front of me. Sarika raised her D-sword and advanced. It was coming back. I'd never wanted to go through that again, but it was coming back. I looked away. No, I tried to look away, but my head wouldn't move. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. Nono looked at me. Takeru, どうしてそこにいるの? Sarika killed Nono again. And then I found myself back at the beginning once more. On the cold, moonlit roof, I wrapped my arms around my body tightly, trying to warm myself against the freezing air. What was that? Nona had looked at me. I seen her looking at me, I was sure of it. She'd seen me? No, that was impossible. I wasn't really here. That was Nono's voice I heard, as she'd been looking at me. If I was a real gigalomaniac, does that mean I had the power to change the past? Well, that's a different entry to the Science Adventure series, but anyway. If that was true, was that the real Kurusu and not a hallucination? El Sai Kongru. My head hurt and I was losing the ability to think. No, this was an illusion. It was all an illusion. There's no way I could change the past. Well, first you need a microwave.
Nani? Non-chan, 話って。
白々しいわね。あなたなら聞かなくてもわかるんでしょ、セリカ。
On my third time seeing the exact same thing, I finally closed my eyes. Stop it. I don't want to see Nono die anymore. I put my hands over my ears to block out the sound. But I could hear them speaking the same words. The last conversation Nono would ever have flowed directly into my head.
見込み違いだったな。お前の思考は丸見えだ。まだ私に友情を期待しているとはな。
Again, saying, this would, even without the whole, like, Nono being murdered by Sariko thing, this would break anyone's mind, seeing the same scene over and over again. You would just get really bored if you see it like a million times. I don't know. You'd be stuck in like a actual like Groundhog Day, thing. The same scene playing again and again. At some point, you'll just be dead on the inside, I feel like. I didn't have to look to know what was happening. I knew the expressions on their faces. I knew the looks in their eyes. The angle that Serika held her D-sword at, and even how she was gonna swing it. I knew it all.
Takuru, どうして助けてくれないの?
I felt warm blood splash on my face the second I closed my eyes. There's no time even to scream. I kept my eyes closed tight, but I could feel the wind in my cheeks again. I was stuck frozen on that roof again. The muscles in my face had tensed up. There's nothing funny happening, but I was letting out a noise that sounded like laughter. My teeth were chattering.
Nani? Non-chan, 話って。
白々しいわね。あなたなら聞かなくても。
Again. It's actually Endless 8. No. The funny thing about Endless 8, by the way, a small tangent, but like, had a very similar plot where, there's the time loop thing, but in the anime, they animated the whole loop, like word for word. They actually just had the same dialogue over and over and over again, which, a lot of people complain about because it's basically recycling the story over and over again. But I actually read the light novel of Haruhi Suzumiya Endless 8, and the way they did it, they didn't do it like that, actually. They actually gave it like, a proper story to it, and how it was like a time loop and everything, right? So I wasn't too surprised about the story surrounding Endless 8 for the anime, but it definitely, wasn't meant for like I feel like it's not very good for like a normal anime watcher, because the whole like gimmick of where they literally repeated the plot 8 times. It's like, wow, why? But anyway, it's just very similar to what's happening right now. They're just repeating that. Like we get it, it's a time loop, we get it, hurry up, get out of the plot. Anyway, I covered my ears, but the words went right into my brain. I didn't know how I could possibly be any more confused. What was that? Why was Nono in front of me? And there's even like, well,
答えてくれないの？
there's some slight differences, you know, in the Endless Eight of Haruhi Suzumiya. Just like what's going on right now. Sometimes, you know, the main character, it's like, oh, it's another loop, you know, or it's like, you know, something's weird, you know, stuff like that. But like, it just goes on for way too long, you know. And that was the problem. I didn't want to open my eyes, I wanted to keep them shut. But for some reason, the moment Nono was killed, they opened on their own. Nono kept dying in front of me. Nono had taken care of me and kept me safe, before I even woken up from my coma. From my perspective, that was before I had even known her. She was part of my family, she was the only big sister I had. And she kept dying over and over.
なぜ私が死ななければならないの？
My head hurt, but the pain didn't even work as an anchor to keep my mind connected to reality. This no-no was a hallucination, I knew that. But the words she said were ripping apart my mind.
なぜ
Yeah, more blood on the
ユイ
floor
を
now.
助けてくれなかったの？なぜ事件を追いかけたりしたの？
Nona looked at me and kept asking, were those her last words before she was killed? Her dying screams? Her final message? No more. I don't want to see her die anymore. Please, stop it! My eyes were closed, but I could see her death repeated again and again in my mind. The diesel running through her chest, the blood everywhere, the tiny sound coming out of her throat like air leaking from a bag. Her blood was hot when it landed on my face. It didn't have that metallic smell, but it was hot. I couldn't tell anymore. Was this really a hallucination? Maybe this was the real no-no. And maybe this is what she really thought. Why didn't you save me? Why didn't you save Yui? Why did you try and solve the case at all? I told you not to do anything dangerous. I told you not to get revenge. This whole sequence also reminds me of a Junji Ito manga, let's just say.
お前の
Very similar theme.
せいだ。
I heard a sound somewhere. Was it your screaming? Because it was a sound of something snapping. I didn't want to see anymore. I didn't want to hear anymore. I didn't want to feel anymore. I closed off my mind, wanting nothing more than that.
おいおい、そこで殻に閉じこもるなよ。罪の意識だけで立ち止まるお前なんざ、もう見飽きてんだ。
I heard a voice from somewhere speaking directly into my head. I held my hands over my ears anyway. I didn't want to hear anything.
しょうがねえな。なら、立ち止まれないようにするしかねえか。ウッドバーンヘロンは知ってるか？じゃあ、また1ヶ月後にな。楽しく壊れろよ。
Wow. I don't know what wood burn heroin is, but I assume it's like, I guess it's like, you know, Sakama's just gonna leave him in this loop for a month. That's, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little like, you know, I guess I sympathize with Sakama a little bit, but that sounds hilarious to me. Like, see ya, sucker. You're gonna be stuck in here for a month. Get wrecked. And then like a computer monitor being powered off, everything disappeared. What? What was this? It was dark. I couldn't see anything. I was in a huge, dark, empty space like nothing I'd ever experienced. I couldn't even tell if my eyes were open or not. I tried blinking, but the darkness didn't change. What is... Well, I don't know. Like, I want to go back, actually, real quick. Like, the wood-burn heron. I'm not sure what that is. Heron, I assume, is a type of bird, right? Is that... The implication seems to be like, maybe it's a type of experiment that's, you know, some scientists did or something that... Or maybe a theoretical one where they, like, trapped them somewhere, I guess? I don't know. Woodbine heron. I don't know. Maybe I'll look that up later. I wish sometimes, the tip system, for example, that explain that defines certain things. I wish they explained that one. Again, sometimes they have words that I do want an explanation for, but they don't give it to you. So I don't know why. Sometimes they give you explanations for words I already know. Like I don't care. They're like very common, but I don't know. Let's see. What's he doing? We're trapped in a dark place. I tried to rub my eyes to see if that helped. But my hands wouldn't move. Yes, we don't have any senses, we can't feel, we can't see, we can't hear. And not just my hands, nothing moved. Huh? There's no sensation of standing. There's no feeling of weight in my body. I think, yeah, there's what's it called? Sensory deprivation chamber? I think that's a real thing, where you're submerged in like water or whatever, and then they just take off your most of your senses. You can't feel anything. It's something that you can do, actually. Was I lying down, or no, was I floating? You gotta be careful though, but because doing something like this can also kind of make you go crazy. So it was like being in zero gravity or floating in water with no resistance. Like my body was drifting along. The only thing that existed was the quiet. I could hear the sound of my heart echoing. But even in the overwhelming darkness, I felt a little better. Anything was better than seeing Nono die again and again. It didn't matter what. Compared to hearing Nono's last words over and over. I did nothing but float there. It was like being almost asleep, but there was something stopping me from falling asleep altogether. It felt weird and unpleasant. I tried to at least do something about the floating. But there's nothing to grab onto, nowhere to stand, and my body wouldn't move. I wanted something solid. I tried my best to find it. Suddenly I realized, where was I? What was I doing here? No. Well, no. This was more mind control. This darkness was another hallucination. Wah! I try to scream and wave my arms, but it doesn't work. There's no sound or no movement. If I couldn't move, I at least wanted to feel something with all my senses. It could be a bright light, screaming, even pain. An awful bitter taste, or even a horrible smell. If I didn't find something fast, I'd lose track of where I ended and the darkness began. I know. What about my shoulder injury from when my dad had knocked me into the seats? I desperately tried to feel the pain in my shoulder, but it didn't work. I couldn't feel anything, even whether or not it was bleeding. I felt like the darkness was gradually burying me, like ants swarming on a piece of candy. The boundary line between my own body and the rest of the world got even blurrier. No way. I finally remembered a certain piece of information. I remember what my dad said just before this happened. Woodburn Heron, wasn't it? I matched the name with what was going on. That was a famous experiment, if I remember right. Okay, so to explain right here, okay. Heron's sensory deprivation experiment. Okay, so yeah, so very, I guess, a parallel to what's happening to us right now. He would put subjects in a sound-treated room that was completely silent, then blindfold them so they couldn't see, then tie them up with a straitjacket kept at exactly their body temperature to take away their sense of touch. Except for eating simple meals and defecating, they were kept on the bed at all times. Okay, so I guess Woodburn Heron is his name, not a bird. I thought heron was a bird. I don't know. Well, I remember it was like a type of bird in Fire Emblem, but anyway. The experiment he done was to see how long he could last, or they could last. The results have been far less than what he expected. The most any of them could endure was 2 or 3 days. The worst ones would complain of disturbed thinking after only a few hours. If they continued with the experiment anyway, they would start hearing and seeing things and almost go mad. Yeah, a human being can't endure long periods of time with no stress or stimulation. That's why it's argued that when, for example, in prisons, when someone is put into solitary confinement, it's equivalent to like torture, basically, because that's what happens. You go crazy, you literally go insane if you have no stimulation and you're stuck in like a small space for so long. The experiment was banned now because of its dangerousness. I remember something else, something terrifying. What had my dad said? See you in a month? Yeah. I was supposed to spend a month like this? I screamed, but I couldn't hear my voice. Oh, what's that called? I have no mouth, but I must scream, or whatever, something like that. Or I must scream, I have no mouth, or something like that. Anyway. The first change was to my sense of vision. It was after about 2 days had passed. By my reckoning, it would have been about dinner time. I wasn't sleepy or hungry. At some point, I just began to count numbers. 1 second, 2 seconds. It was meaningless, but I felt like I got mad if I didn't do something. When I just about passed 100,000 seconds, the darkness in front of me suddenly began to shine. What? Who's there? It wasn't a camera flash or a light bulb. It was just a blurry glow. That was all. I couldn't see anything else or even move. When I saw it, I lost track of my number and started over. The light came every 100,000 seconds. A day was 60 times 60 times 24, so 86,400 seconds. Very specific, I guess. Perfect. I decided to round up and call each 100,000 seconds a day. When there was no light, I was bored. I wished so many times for something to happen. Someone come here. Even Dad. I didn't care. I'd rather be fighting a battle with the D-swords that I knew I couldn't win. Actually, I'd rather be stabbed with a D-sword. I wanted to feel pain. I thought that when the light came for the 30th time I could escape, because that would mean a month had passed. A month was 30 days. But nothing happened. The light just kept coming at the same pace as before. When the light came again after 30 days passed, I stopped counting how many times it had come. I stopped counting 100,000 too. What's the point of counting anyway?
数えるのやめてしまうの?
No. I heard that clearly. Well, we're now hearing voices, by the way. Definitely, we're going crazy. I started hearing voices sometimes when I neared the 30th appearance of the light. Are you just gonna die like this? What's Miyashita Park like? Hey Miyashiro, how do you know Gen? Adios gracias. Who says that? It was Harumura. Harumura always says that. Why did you leave me to die? You idiot, are you just gonna die here? The newspaper club's just getting started, right? Tell me, why did you save me? I hurt so much when I died. You ever heard of Woodburn Heron? Yorokobe Taguru. Kimi no nagai wa youyaku kanao. I mean, Sakura really does remind me of Kotomine. Less depth, though. We didn't learn much about his ambitions too much. Just that he said, oh, it's just for fun, you know? I love torturing people. It's great. The voices came and disappeared without listening to my responses. I at least wanted to see their faces. I was already starting to forget what everyone looked like. Maybe if I saw them again, I could stop the darkness from swallowing up all my memories.
ここから出してあげる。父さんのこと殺してきてあげる。
Really?
言ってきた。でもダメ。私一人じゃ無理だった。
私たち手伝いましょうか?
Oh, even Kazuki's here. Really? You'll do all that for me?
女子高生の力をなめるなよ。アディオスグラッシャー。
Wait.
どうしたの、タクル兄ちゃん。
No,
まさか一人じゃ寂しいとか言うんじゃないでしょうね。勘弁してよ。
That's not true. Of course I'm not lonely. No, I wanted to tell you to be careful. Dad's power is... What was it again?
どうした?佐久間はどこにいるんだよ。それがわかんねえと殺しに行けねえだろ。
さっさと言え。時間の無駄だ。
Hello, Kanosato. You're even rude in my memories. In my weird, schizophrenic, insanity. Huh? That's strange. She'd be right there. Huh? There? Where's there?
タクルさん、ウッドバーンヘロンって知ってますか?
Uttapan Heron. Don't you know I'm a right-sider? Of course I know. He's the guy that came up with the theory that a day is 86,400 seconds, of course. Huh? Amazing, right? I was slowly breaking and melting away. Suddenly, I felt something stabbing me somewhere. Oh. Okay, did he finally stab us in the real world? It was the pain I'd been longing for, but I didn't care anymore. I was just tired of it.
殺してあげる。
No, please don't stab me.
なぜ？
I don't want to die.
どうして？
Because it hurts.
痛みなんて感じてないじゃない。タクル、あなた、本当にそこにいるの？
Nono kept stabbing me, as if she was trying to find out where I was. When that sound finally stopped, I heard a wet slopping noise. I could tell her hands were jammed inside my body, rummaging through my guts. I could imagine the blood. But Nono was right. I didn't feel any pain. That's strange. I heard a moment ago. No, let me see you. I'm sorry. You can kill me if you want.
なぜ？
Because I want to see you. I want to see anybody. I'm lonely. No. Why? Why did you leave? No, wait. Was that really Nono? Was that Nono's voice? Did she really talk like that? Wait a second. What was Nono's last name? Kurusu, right? The orphanage. I was blanking out on the place's name. There were two sisters there. What were their names? Or wait, was it a brother and sister? Everything was turning black. Who was that girl who always told me not to lie? Who was the one in the white lab coat? Korestina? Korestina! Yes. The one who didn't talk. The one who always seemed scared. Who'd been stabbing me a moment ago.
わからないの？
ひどい先輩っすね。
Shut up. Suddenly the noises started to bother me. I didn't want to be criticized by these names when I didn't even know their name, or by these people, rather, when I didn't even know their names. Please, somebody kill. Ow! I was surprised by a sudden fierce pain in my head. Thud. I could feel the blood flowing into my head. How many months had it been since I felt pain so clearly like this? Oh, how many years? Or maybe decades?
いつまでそんなことをしてるんですか？私の方がずっと痛かったんだけど。
I said shut up. All of you shut up. I screamed back at the voices. I don't know who you people are. All of you just disappear.
助けて。
Okay, X. Okay. When I said someone's name, everything became better. All the voices disappeared, and the pain in my head was gone.
タク？大丈夫？
Oh, that's Erica. It's our imaginary friend.
怪我は平気だね。
She was right next to me, as if that was the most natural place in the world for her to be.
おのえ、お前、なんでここに？
お？私はいつもタクの隣にいるよ。
That was impossible. When my dad used his mind control on me, I had killed her.
そうだ。僕が。
I remember, Dad had used his mind control on me, in the theater cube at the Hikario. So this was all just...
僕のただの妄想か。
昔みたいだね。
Serica laughed, I didn't know why.
で、どう？
何が。
思考誘導、どんな感じ？
なかなかだよ。結構きつい。
そう？結構居心地良さそうだけど、お腹も空かないんでしょ？
I mean, in a sense, it's, I guess, you know, practical immortality. I guess. Sariko looked around into the empty void. That's kind of the thing I was thinking. I mean, is again partly based on the Junji Ito manga, but like, what if you could like, because it feels like, you know, when you're dreaming and everything, for example, when you sleep, your sense of time is a little bit warped. You know, sometimes you feel like your dreams go super fast. Sometimes it goes, lasts for a long time. But either way, you know, you sleep for the same amount of time anyway, right? It's your sense of time in general is just warped. But like, what if you could control that? You know, what if you could stay in your mind for in eternity? At least you feel like it anyway. Would that be immortality in a sense? You know, it would be interesting to think about. Well, Sariko looked around into the empty void. She was acting like she'd just come over to check out her friend's new house.
お前な、一度こうなってみろよ。体を動かせないのがどんなに辛いか。
そりゃ私は耐えられそうにないけど、タクはリハビリの時に経験済みじゃん。
あの時は動かそうとするたびにちゃんと痛みが走った。動いてなくても動かしてるっていう実感があったんだよ。
そういうもの？
Sariko tilted her head at me.
これ、向こうはどうなってる？
向こう？
現実だよ。つまりシアターキューブにいる僕だ。思考誘導を受けて多分倒れてるだろう。
I didn't even have the slightest idea how much time had passed, but it had have to have been much longer than a day or two. The restoration festival was probably long since over, and I might have starved to death. Oh, whoops.
それはないんじゃないかな。だってタクちゃんと話してるし、生きてるってことでしょ？
そうだけど。
情報をまとめて理屈で考えろっていつも言ってるのはタクだよ。こっちと向こうの時間が違うとか？
That's right, that's possible.
ひなちゃんたちはどうしたの？
ひなちゃん。
Alright, Hinai, Arumura Hinai. How had I forgotten about her?
新庄さんたちと一緒に渋谷を抜け出したと思う。
たちって誰？ウキちゃんとゆうとくんと
久野里さん。
あれれ、はなちゃんは？
あいつは事件と直接関係ないから渋谷に残ってると思う。
そっか。
And then Sarika started asking me one question after another. Could I really not move? Was the light I sometimes saw a hallucination? Were the voices I heard imaginary? I took a long time answering each one in as much detail as possible. I had plenty of time after all. And just the act of having a conversation was wonderful. It was something I'd done all the time in my daily life and at the newspaper club. Come to think of it, who had first used the phrase "you don't know what you've got until you don't know what you've got until it's gone," and when did they use it?
わかんないよ。ポケコン持ってくればよかったかな。
I don't know if the internet works in my mind. I don't know if we have Wi-Fi in here. I laughed a little, though I wasn't sure if Sarika was serious or joking. Each time I would answer one of her questions, Sarika's expression would change. She'd laugh or get mad, or sometimes she even tried to correct me. She really did seem like a normal person. But...
何？
お前、昔は僕の妄想でどこにもいなかったんだな。
バレちゃったか。
She acted just like a kid who'd been caught while playing hide and seek.
他の人からは どう見えてたんだ？
If she wasn't real, I must have spent all my time as a kid talking to empty air.
どうって見たまんまだと思うけど。でもさ、私とタクが一緒にいるところなんてそんなに見られてないよ。タクの両親くらいじゃない？あと病院の地下でセンリちゃんにか。あれは失敗したな。そのせいで私のんちゃんにバレちゃったんだよね。
That's right. Sarika and I spent almost all of our time in my room. I'd never been to her house. No, according to Kunasato, her house didn't exist.
言ってくれればよかったのに。
そういうわけにはいかないよ。
She laughed, but she seemed a little bothered.
でも、あの時はどうだったんだ？渋谷地震。
ああ。
I remember carrying Sarika through the hell that was post-earthquake Shibuya. But if she'd only just been born if she'd only just been born when I'd had that headache when I was in the yogi shelter, I hadn't been really carrying her on my back at all. Only then did I remember why I was here. It wasn't to talk about old times.
よくわかんないけど、でもちょっと変くらいにしか見えてなかったと思うよ。ほら、私は気を失ってたからあんまり話してないし。あんな状況じゃタクが独り言を言ってるとか歩いてる姿勢がおかしいとか別に誰も。タク？
え？
どうしたの？
いや。
If I could have moved my body, I would have been looking straight back into Sarika's eyes.
お前を生み出した時、僕はお前に何を望んだんだろう。
それはね、わかんないよ。
She didn't seem surprised or upset at all.
だって今の私はタクの知ってることしか知らないもん。向こうの彼女しか知らないことだもん。
Yeah, that's right. The Sarika in front of me might look alive, but she was really just a delusion of mine. So she wouldn't know anything that I didn't. I created her again to help me get through this torture. She was just... Oh. And when I realized it, I was disgusted with myself. I felt so pathetic that I wanted to cry. How could I be so shameless?
僕は向こうの尾を殺したんだぞ。
Now, I'm still a bit confused about that. Did we like kill her in a delusion? Because I thought we just killed her in a delusion, right? We didn't really kill her, but maybe we did, you know? I mean, maybe the idea is that Sarika and Takaru were both being mind-controlled into, like, trying to kill each other, and then Takaru was the one, you know, who killed her in the delusion, but also killed her in real life, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. I'm not sure, though. Even if it was a trap created by Dad's mind control, I'd still killed her with my own hands. Or maybe it's like, you know, we still intended to kill her. We still couldn't control, you know, the fact that we would have killed her even if it wasn't like a delusion, maybe. She'd almost killed me, and then I lost control and killed her instead. I torn open her stomach injury, then strangled her. Saying I'd been mind controlled was just an excuse. The rage and desire to kill her I'd felt had been real. Even without the mind control, if the same thing happened in reality, I'd do it again. I'd kill her. And I'd do it again. Even when the imaginary me tried to kill her, she chose to die rather than resist, unlike me. But then I wished for her again, just like I'd done during the Shibuya earthquake. And I'd come to her for help again. I couldn't handle the darkness on my own, so I created her. I could not imagine a worse person than myself.
別に気にすることないよ。私、ここにいられて楽しいもん。
And now stop it.
タクが呼んでくれなかったら話すこともできなかったし。
Don't tell me exactly what I want to hear. Come to think of it, Sarka had always been like that, ever since I was little. Even when I was neglected, she was always jealous of me. She always made me think that I was better off than she was. Whenever I wanted to show off some new piece of information I had learned, she'd always act interested. She pretended to be a stupid girl, so that I always get to think of myself as a right-sider.
ごめん。ごめんな。本当に。ごめん。
タク。
Sarika looked hurt when she saw me apologize. Why don't you understand? You don't have to apologize. This is what makes me happy, she seemed to say. But she only looked that way because I wanted her to. My ego and desire had created the role of a kind-hearted young girl that she was forever forced to play, which it's kind of interesting, actually. You know, this idea, because it happens in a lot of like anime. You know, without any of the whole delusion thing. It's kind of like, oh, this like happy, perky girl just so happens to come to your life, and you know, and makes you feel special, whatever. I don't know. It's kind of like this weird wish fulfillment thing. And it's kind of like, well, it actually is a thing, bro. We're actually just, you know, this perfect girl literally came from our mind. So, the two of us were like that for a little while. I kept apologizing, and Sarika seemed to not want to hear it. Eventually, she spoke to me like a mother scolding her child.
タクはね、それでも私を許しちゃいけないんだよ。
え？
私、のんちゃんを殺しちゃったんだから、そうでしょ？
でも、その理由が僕のせいかもしれないんだ。
No, it wasn't a maybe. There had to be something connected with me.
けど、私は死んじゃったから、聞くことはできないでしょ？
Sarika was right. No, I was forcing her to be right.
じゃあさ。
Of course, I knew what she would say next. Sarika's voice became a light, the one thing that lit up my path in this dark world.
タクは、どうしたいの？
Suddenly, I saw a scene I remembered well. Until a moment ago, the blackness had kept me from remembering, no matter how hard I tried to imagine them. But now I could see my family. They must have been getting ready for dinner. I smelled something good. I looked in the kitchen and saw a lineup of dishes fit for a nursing home. Yui, Uki, if you take cooking lessons from Nono, they're gonna start calling you Mom and Granny at school. Yuto was in the corner, sulking because Yui had made fun of him. Yui was looking at him and laughing. Uki didn't know what to do. Nono gave Yui a brief scolding, but she was smiling while she did it. It was the same thing I'd seen a million times before. Nothing was different. Where's Dad, by the way? But everyone was in the club room, going over the case. We seemed to be talking about Shibuya news. Kunosato had updated some information. Kazuki was playing her game. Ito went to stop her, but froze when she offered him a piece of dried squid. Adamura told a stupid joke, and Ito blushed and started to shake his head frantically. There was still no expression on Kazuki's face. This was another scene I knew well. But this world was never coming back. My dad had destroyed it.
それで、いいの？
Of course not. I love my family. I love my friends. Those places were the most precious things I had. He ruined them all, and when I asked him why, the only reason he could give me was that it was fun. Yeah, yes. It was just hilarious. Life's a joke. Yeah. I couldn't let him get away with that. No matter what I did, Yui and Nono weren't coming back. The life I had with my friends was gone. My feelings began to break free from the darkness and come to life again. Blood flowed through my body once more, and my senses started to return to me. That's right, I...
敵を取らなきゃダメだ。
All for revenge! Even if that meant breaking my promise to Nono. I didn't care what my dad was trying to accomplish with this experiment or what was happening to me. He wanted something from me, What was it? I didn't even want to know.
それを知ろうとしなくていいの？
I didn't care. I refused to go crazy like he wanted. Well, we are kind of going crazy already, though.
なんかタクらしくないね。
うるさいな。
でも感情だけで頑張っちゃうタクもちょっと見てみたいな。
I smiled back at her, and then I focused all my neurons on creating a delusion. Where had I been? Who was I so angry at, and where were they standing? If I was in a prison of delusions created by that machine, then I have to come up with a delusion that was even more powerful. It was that easy. You just make a bigger delusion. And then I pull him into my own delusion. Oh, is this like, well, it kind of reminds me of Fate Stay Night, actually. Reality marbles, you know? I am the bone of my sword. The way I remembered it, it was like this.
もうちょっと明るくなかった？天井から照明当たってるんでしょ？
Were they?
多分これくらい。あともうちょっと近かった。
Closer, huh? How about this?
オッケー。さすがカメラいじってるだけあるね。
Serica walked around the stage, checking to see if there was anything I'd missed. It's kind of weird, we're just recreating the world. She must have been satisfied because she nodded several times.
タクの立ち位置もオッケー？
意識が飛んだ時のままならな。
違ってたらどうするの？
その時はその時だ。確実な方法なんてありっこないんだからな。
Serica pretended to be impressed with what I said. I laughed at myself too. Was I really the type of person who's brave enough to do something like this? I used to think that risky decisions weren't courageous but stupid. I used to think that courage was just a word people use to hide their stupidity.
あ、そうだ、タク？私の仇は取っちゃダメだよ。のんちゃんたちの仇は取らなきゃダメ。でも私の仇はダメ。当たり前でしょ？
That's weird. Take revenge, but don't take revenge though. Okay.
それは。
It means the same thing anyway, I guess.
いいから、とにかくその瞬間、タクが思っていいのはのんちゃんたちだけ。ね。
I'm sorry and thanks. Those were the only words I could come up with. I didn't know what else I could say.
ほらタク、ちゃんとしてよ。じゃないと私が来た意味なくなっちゃうじゃん。
Serica pouted a little. It was the same thing she used to do in the newspaper club. I tried to stop my tears from welling up again.
ちゃんとしてるよ。この僕がちゃんとしてなかったことなんてあるか？
あの時とあの時、それから
指を折って数えるな。
She laughed, and then she looked me right in the eyes.
多分向こうへ戻った瞬間、その一瞬にしかあいつの隙はないよ。だからチャンスは。
He's back to
一度あれば十分だ。
emotionless, Serica. That's right. I only have a few seconds of the world of my delusion. And a few seconds when I got back to reality. I probably have less than 5 seconds in total. If he'd been researching physics for as long as he said, he'd notice what I'd done immediately. Apparently for some reason I said physics for some reason? I don't know why I said physics. Psychics, not physics. For some reason I was thinking like, use the power of physics to defeat me? I don't know, anyway. Researching psychics for as long as he did, he'd notice what I'd done immediately. So I'd only get one shot. If it didn't work, he'd kill me this time. Serica looked relieved when she saw my resolve. And then she smiled and started to fade away, as if her job was done. Oh, she's the Force Ghost. Ben Kenobi is going away. At the same time, I felt a stabbing pain in my head. It was the pain from when the D-sword appeared. Here it comes.
無謀なことにかける覚悟は OK?
オッケー。
Okay.
掛け金が自分の命だっていう現実は OK?
オッケー。
バカな決断に言い訳をしない意志は OK?
オッケー。
Fusion, huh?
舞台に上がって
I slammed my own delusion down on top of the one that held me. It was like splattering bright paint on the black canvas. In a single instant, a perfect replica of the theater appeared. Yes, it was working. Dad was right in front of me. He looked surprised. I could tell from the shock on his face that he hadn't yet realized that this was a world of delusion sitting on top of another delusion. It really is a reality marble. And then I dragged him inside. So as I pray, unlimited blade works, or something like that anyway. The machine on his back started to creak and moan. Its shape was becoming warped and distorted as it was being crushed by an invisible giant. I screamed louder as I tried to use my power to destroy it. Dad stepped back as if to protect it, the look on his face making it clear that he still couldn't believe what was happening. But it was too late. Crush it. Crush. I hit him with a stronger delusion. The outer frame couldn't take the stress and the machine started to break. Dad panicked and raised his D-sword to use his mind control on me again. A red light flashed in front of me, but it wasn't the mind control again. It was the opposite. This was the key for the plan that the other Serika and I had come up with. Dad, Sakuma, had made a mistake. He thought that I escaped from his mind control on my own. He thought I escaped from that delusion and made it back to reality. So he did just what he hoped he would, or what we hoped he would, and ended the mind control that was on me now, even though I was still inside that dark prison. If Dad had stayed calm, he would have noticed his mistake immediately, but it was also sudden that he panicked and made the wrong decision. Okay, I guess he accidentally turned, he actually pressed the power button, even though the TV was still on, I guess, or something like that. He thought the TV was on, so he pressed the power button, but it was actually off, or something like that, I guess. That black torture chamber was gone, and in that instant I cancelled my own delusion. The bonds that had tied me in place were gone. My senses came back and told me that this was reality. The pain of my injury, the smell of blood, the taste of blood, the feeling of the D-sword in my hand, Dad's howling as he stood there with his fake sword raised high. But just getting back to reality wasn't good enough. I only had a few seconds, probably. I needed to destroy the real device before he figured out the trick. Run. I forced my aching body to move and ran at full speed toward my foe. I lowered my body as I ran and held the D-sword ready. A new attempt at mind control came at me. I feel like trying to scramble my brain, but I wasn't stopping. I couldn't stop. I bit down hard on my lip and used the pain to check my 5 senses. You're still okay. Don't stop. Run. Keep running. I swung the D-sword down at my father. Dad tried to dodge it, but that's just what I wanted. He ducked low and I could clearly see the device on his back. I slammed the D-sword down into it hard before he could move. Well, there you go. I guess we defeated our dad. Amazing. I assume so anyway, unless there's any other tricks he has, I guess. Also, well, hopefully that there was that, that such a typical shonen anime thing, but like, the theme song was playing as we came out with the whole mind control thing. Hopefully the VOD doesn't get muted at that point. It'd probably get muted at that point. Oh well. Anyway. So after activating our cheesy anime opening shonen protagonist powers, it seems like we defeated our dad. See what happens. Panting, I pulled the D-sword out of the device. Parts flew everywhere. The strange light had been giving off disappeared. I can't read. The strange light had been giving off disappeared, and the artificial D-sword he was holding lost its shine. The pain created by his mind control attempts vanished like it was never there. As soon as I saw that the device was destroyed, I fell to my knees. I'd used my power while running at full speed, and it hurt to breathe. I was dizzy from lack of oxygen. Oh, your weird headgear thing isn't lighting up anymore. Now it just looks silly. Dad's moves suddenly began to change. He seemed to realize what I'd just done. The smile on his face vanished, and instead of anger, there's no expression at all. Well, it won't matter after I stab you in the neck. I never heard him use a tone like that before. I used the D-sword as support to help me to my feet. It was fine, I could move. I could move just the way I wanted to. I was sure of it. I made it back to reality. I readied the D-sword again without saying a word. There's still an expression on Dad's face. I mean, I would say there is an expression, but I guess it's just the way they've drawn it. I looked down. Sarika was lying there, looking like she was asleep even though she was dead. Dad's anger vanished, and instead he started to speak like a scientist observing a guinea pig. That was even creepier somehow. Dad raised his now dull D-sword and came toward me. What are you gonna do? It's just a big old slab of metal now. It was no longer an artificial D-sword, it was actually just a giant anime cosplay sword. So, what are you gonna do about it? But it was still a giant metal blade. Well, I mean, in real life, a weapon, I don't know. In a lot of media, especially anime, everyone always has these giant great swords, but in real life, that's very unbalanced, It's not a very good weapon. Even without his powers, is more than capable of killing me. It's pretty hard though, You can't just swing giant swords as if you were Guts from Berserk. You know, it's not that easy. I stepped away from him, my own weapon at the ready. It felt like if I looked away from him, I'd be killed.
狂えって俺は言ったよな。なあ。
The iron blade suddenly came down. There was an impact on my face. I felt some of my back teeth break and blood spurted from my mouth. Did you just like headbutt the blade? Come on. I've been knocked into the floor. I swung the D-sword in my hand frantically. As it turns out, Takeru doesn't know any swordsmanship, so... For a moment, I experienced the pain and light that were caused by mind control. So that thing still working? It wasn't broken? It had to be. I dropped the D-sword in despair. It vanished. But the mind control never came. My attack a moment ago had damaged it.
マジで壊れてるじゃねえか。このクソガキ
Sakuma's iron sword struck me on the left leg, and an indescribably awful pain ran out my spine and smashed into my brain.
んなことなら最初から拷問室にでも思考誘導しとくべきだったな。なんなら今やってやろうか。リアルで。よ
Yeah, well, let's just not use like the mind control torture. Let's just use good old-fashioned normal torture. Wouldn't that be fun, Takeru? You see, there's this thing called waterboarding. I'm quite bloody. I don't know. We lose instantly. By the way, in terms of like actual physical combat, we just die. Oh well. It hurt. The pain was unbearable. Was this plan stupid after all? Was there no way to win? Oreo! I heard that voice before in some kind of like anime game. It's gotta be Fate Go or something like that. Oreo. Oriyopto. Oriyoppo. Yopto. Something like that. I don't know.
ダメだな。通覚からの発狂じゃ何にも新しいもんは得られねえか。
What happened to my leg? My body? Were they still there? I couldn't move, just like in that black prison.
なら、あいつらをお前の目の前で殺してみるか。
Huh? I could hear those words clearly, even as my whole body screamed from pain.
多分まだ渋谷を出てねえだろ。
The instant I understood what he meant, I forgot the pain coursing through my body.
おう、それでいいんだよ。お前にとってそれが大事なものであればあるほど効果は高えからな。
He kicked me, and I rolled along the ground. Then he started to walk away. My throat hurt as I screamed. It was frustrating how I couldn't even speak. Seems like Takeru's always in these positions, where he's like, you know, this voice actor is just doing that all day. He was leaving, he was going somewhere. Where? Where else? To where they were. He's going after the people I loved. I tried to stand up, but the leg he struck wouldn't move and I fell to the ground. I hit my face on the floor, and my left leg wouldn't move. Was it broken? It was the one place I didn't feel any pain. My body wouldn't move. Why? I finally made it out of that darkness, right? You should've, took some kendo classes maybe. Somehow he could just beat you with that giant slab of iron, like it was like a giant keyblade, even though that doesn't really, how would that work? I don't know. It would like be like a blunt object at most. I guess he could just hit you with that. Anyway, I couldn't just let him go. Move. I don't care what moves. Move. He was gonna kill them right in front of me? Kill Alamura? Kill Uki? Kill Yuto? Kill Kunasato? I mean, I don't know about Kunasato. She's pretty smart. She could probably get away from him. I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't let him do it. As my vision blurred from the pain, I saw Serika's body lying on the ground.
のんちゃんたちの仇は取らなきゃダメ。でも私の仇はダメ。当たり前でしょ。
絶対にさせるか。
I howled. And my D sword appeared as if in answer. And then it sliced through the air toward my dad as he walked away. Oh, did we use like an air slash? Is that what it is? Air slash. Oh, no, we threw it. Ah, yes, the classic simply just throw the giant sword directly into the person. You know, somehow it's very aerodynamic, I guess. I mean, well, it does make more sense, you know, because we do have like literal force powers, like a Jedi. So, I mean, throwing the lightsaber actually does make sense because, you know, you could just, you know, use your psychokinesis powers. Anyway. My dad turned around at the noise and just in time for the D-sword to impale his throat. Oh, yes. Lots of strawberry jam. And then he slowly fell backward to the floor.